AI Motorsport. Today we are here at Red Lodge Cup 2000, round 7. And this is Josh, my good mate. We've also got Henry behind the camera. I think he's actually amazing. He is. I reckon P1 maybe? Podium. Podium, yeah. I reckon podium will be good today. But you will see maybe driver's briefing if I remember to film it. And then track walk. Then you will see us out on track. See you in a bit. Yeah, see you in a bit.
For next month, I know we're a bit previous, but we are what we are. There's going to be a practice on the Friday, racing on the Saturday.
Hello, we are back from qualifying, and it was okay, really. Well, okay, not okay, it was awful. Had no front end, you'd turn in, nothing would happen. Rear end, once the front end would finally turn, the rear end would step out, and it was just awful. Josh, how was it for you?
Yeah, alright for me. Third, flickering between fourth, ended up in fourth though. Struggling a little bit on the rear end, but other than that, all good.
The people at the front got a extra lap because they just pulled away so much. Me and Josh obviously didn't get that. So yeah, and the track was evolving massively. Like when you go through, like first lap you was like a second off the pace how you was at the end. That's why you didn't get third because it's unfortunate. Let's hope it goes better in Heat 1. You wouldn't have seen what happened in qualifying because we did not have time, sadly. So, yeah, well, we definitely you will definitely see Heat 1. So, see you soon.
Right, good luck.
So just giving the engine a little rev just to try give the engine some temperature before we go out. The engines have to be in a very certain window to get the most power. So rolling onto the tram lines, light goes green, Josh gets a very good start, tries to go around the outside, but Scott's back to the inside. I try to send it around the outside, but that doesn't work. Then try to send it up the inside of Josh, and that doesn't work, get bad exit. Then the 101 is back on my inside. That was a bit annoying because he's a bit slower than me. So, go around the left hand of that corner is almost flat. He hits the curb, which you don't want to do, get a better exit. Try to send it up the inside that. He had the better traction there, so couldn't get that done. Round the right hander, and the rear end is really stepping out, as you'll see going into here. So, yeah, rear end steps out again. Yeah, the rear end was very loose this race. At the start, the end, it was just really cold. The tyres were really cold, and at the end, the tyres were really hot. Yeah, it was just all over the places. Luckily, we do sort that out towards the end of the day. Number 101 gets a big lock up, and then I run into the back of him. Luckily, I don't spin around, get close to him or anything like that. That's good. In the slipstream, I think he is running an 83 spot though, because he is a bit quicker than me down the straight. He's still getting quite a bit of oversteer, so am I, so yeah, it's just unfortunate that the rear end was a bit loose, sending it through the final corner. In the 101 slipstream, you see me pulling up the flap there, that's to the radiator to make sure the engine doesn't get too hot. If it gets too hot, you can bust, like oil can get too hot, like pistons can expand and explode or something like that. Give the 101 a little bit of a nudge and get past him there. That is where I normally do my overtaking actually, so that was good. So around the fastest corner of the track until it tightens up where you can slow down a bit. Trying to catch up to Josh, he is the number 62. We try to catch up to him in this race, but as you'll see, that doesn't go to plan. Getting very close to the barrier, and yeah, sending it through the final corner. As we transition over to when I catch up to Josh a bit more. Now I'm in the slipstream, but also the dirty air. As you can see, rear end stepped out a lot. Spin out because just the rear tyres were just overheating, and then plus that with dirty air, you just spin out. It's unfortunate because I reckon me and Josh would have had a good battle this race. I do catch up quite a bit though, and so we've now lost 3 positions because of that. We're now behind the 51, catch up to him, but loads into the first corner. He's now holding me up. I looked to the inside of the move that I did on the 101. It doesn't happen. Now in a slipstream, I'm pushing him down the straight. This is called bump drafting. Do this all the time in karting. Give him a little tap just so he knows that I'm there. Give him another tap. He runs a bit wide. That makes him get a bad exit in the slipstream. I look to the inside and absolutely send it up the inside. That was a really good move. I was very happy with that. So going on to the next couple of laps when I've caught up to 101. He was the person that we overtook earlier. That was with quite easy move, but right behind him, giving him little taps so he knows that I'm there. And actually there was a crash through the one of the fastest corners of the circuit. So through the long left-hander, sort of just then, there was a yellow flag, and I've ran into the back of the 101, giving him the position back again because I don't want to get a penalty for overtaking under yellows. So I see the green flag in the distance behind the 101. I'm sending it through the final corner as we transition back over to when the collision's all cleared. Trying to get past the 101. 101 gets a snap of oversteer, give him a little tap, push him offline. He sends it, he runs a bit wide. Catching him in the slipstream, I don't go for the move, I wait because he's made a mistake and I've capitalised on that. And now it's the final lap, so running you through the lap, fast left-hander, flat out, into a heavy braking zone of the second, then the flat out right-hander, into the left-hander, then the 180. That is very important to get right, but difficult too, because then you've got the almost flat left-hander. If you don't get that right, you've got a bad one all the way down this straight, going into the left-hander, and we sped up a bit here. So through the left-hander, then the right-hander. Very good. This was one of the best laps of the weekend actually. And then through the final corner, going over to the line, and I was happy with that. I fist bump in the air because, as you saw, I was taking my hand off the steering wheel. Unfortunately, it was out of shot me fist bumping. Yeah, it was just unfortunate that I spun there. See what me and Josh have to say about that.
Hello, we're back after heat 1, and it was okay. You would have seen what happened, hopefully. Yeah. Well, the car felt really good. We found out what was wrong. We put the screws underneath in the wrong spots, so the camber was all wrong and that, so that's why the front wasn't working. Fixed that, and now the rear end's the problem, and you would have seen what happened. I spun because I got very close to the wall. For you guys, it would have felt you think I hit the wall. I didn't. I got very close to it. That's what you need to do to get it, as Josh would know. Yeah, but recovered well, got back those two positions, finished where I started, but yeah, we had more to do.
Yeah, alright for me, stayed in the same position I started. Yeah, a bit of a boring race really. Didn't quite have the pace to keep the top boys, but it's about the same pace in the end, because I had a bad start. But yeah.
Just before I spun,
I reckon you would have finished at the top.
Well,
I have that now on stage.
Well, yeah, you'll see heat 2 right now.
So going up to the final corner, just checking that I can get my fingers underneath the radiator flap, rolling up to the trams line, and the green light is on and it's race, go, go, go. I try to slot in, and I do, right behind Humphrey, give him a little nudge, and he looks to the inside of Josh, but they make contact and he pops a little wheelie actually. Get very close to the barrier there, look to the inside, nothing happening, give him a little bump. Then round the left-hander, I brake early, try to get a good exit. Humphrey notices that, he goes to defend but comes back across. I had to brake there to make sure I didn't hit him as hard as what I would have if I had stayed flat. So going in the slipstream, we're both trying to catch up to Josh now, and we do here. He gets a good exit out of the last corner though, and as we cut forward in time, I get very close to the back of Humphrey and the wall. So right behind Humphrey, it's pretty much single file, no gap in between us, between me, Humphrey. spins around, and Humphrey does get a bit of damage because of that and has to slow down a bit during the next couple of laps. So Josh spins around, and he's now not out of the race, but he's quite a long way back. Humphrey does get a penalty for that though. So we're in his slipstream now. I really want to get past Humphrey because he's just taken out one of my best mates at karting. So in his slipstream, he looks behind me just to check who's behind him. I look to the outside. I turn in a bit later. I look to the inside, but nothing happens there. So I turn in a bit later, and he's pulled a bit of gap. For some reason, I look to the inside, and this is where the damage starts to kick in. He's really slowed down the straight. I look to the inside. I dive up the inside, and I get the move done through the fastest corner on this circuit. So now coming around the right hander. So now I really am annoyed because of that. So I slow right down, as you can see. I don't go as quick. I slow right down as I see the penalty for Humphrey behind me. So I tried to make sure that Josh does get within the 5 seconds. So I slow right down on these last couple of laps just to make sure he does get back that position of Humphrey. At the minute I am in third. Humphrey is in fourth, and Josh is in fifth. I just need to slow down Humphrey enough to make sure Josh gets that P4, and as you can see, I'm slowing down so much. I'm still having to fight the kart though. These tyres are so worn. They've done three rounds here, and normally people only do one round on one set of tyres, but we do 2 rounds on one set, but these are 3 rounds old. The rear tyres have absolutely no tread on them at all, so they have no grip. And I'm slowing Humphrey down so much. Josh is now around the 5 second mark, and I think this is either the second to last lap or last lap. I can't remember. And I'm slowing down Humphrey so much just to make sure Josh does get within his 5 seconds, and he is hovering around those 5 second mark. I don't know if he actually does get any damage. And over the line to finish, I hope he's got within the 5 seconds, and I just want to see how it went for Josh and see what I have to say for that.
Hello, we are back after Heat 2. You would have just saw that. A bit of drama between Josh and Humphrey. Yeah, Josh, how did it feel?
Well, at the start, got up to P3 from P4, but then got knocked off, but came back, and then since the person that knocked me off got a penalty, I got back up to 4th from that. But yeah, what about you, Alpha?
Well, kart was good. Like, I was right behind Josh. You would have saw that on the thing. Right behind Josh. Humphreys tried to send it up the inside. You would have saw I was going to try and go around his outside, but then I saw that, tucked back in, spun Josh out. Once I got back past him, I've sandbagged and held him up just so Josh could get within 5 seconds to get that position back. So yeah, all in all, good race, but unlucky for Josh. He being third, not fourth. So yeah, let's see how Heat 3 goes, and you'll see that not now because we're going to show you what we do before we go out, because like not many people see that. So yeah, we'll see you in a minute.
We're rolling up to the last corner, everyone weaving to try and get some heat into their tyres. Louis in front of us, we actually bought this cut off of Louis, so yeah, that's nice. We had to get it welded because last time out I crashed, but I didn't have a camera then, so yeah. As going up to the tram lines now, green flag and race go go go. Josh is on my outside, but I then dive, make sure he doesn't get that, but in the process Josh actually falls to 4th and Humphrey gets to 3rd, and later on Humphrey and I will actually start battling. But at the minute I'm trying to chase down the leaders, but they are really quick as we cut to quite a lot of laps later, near the end of the race actually. And Humphrey is now right on me, and I get a snap of oversteer going in and on the exit as well. Humphrey's now up my inside. I brake late to make sure I get the position, and he hits my rear wheel and I'm up onto the curb, and now Josh is on my left and it's a drag race, but he gets through because he's onto the inside. I give him a little tap, and then and I try to get a good exit, but no, Josh is there. And also I think I also had a bit of damage on my rear right wheel because he did hit my rear right wheel. Josh goes a bit wide there. I could try send it into the first corner, but I think wisely, because we're good mates, I could have went up the inside, but he's in the middle of the track. I can't do anything. This is a very good battle, this. So, and that's now Josh from P4 to P3. No, P5 to P3, sorry, and me P3 to P4, and Humphrey has dropped to like P6, I think, but he does manage to finish behind me in the end. Josh gets a big snap of oversteer, and I'm right on the back of him now. He gets bad exit as well. I'm right on him. I could have maybe went to the inside, but I thought wisely. And he runs wide and I'm on his inside, but I have to brake, otherwise he would have hit me off into the grass. I don't think he saw me, but that was probably our only opportunity, I think, as we are still very close to him. I think we are still quicker in this slipstream. My flap is open because my radiator is getting quite hot. This round, because I was pretty much always behind someone, I was always getting their fumes into my radiator, so I couldn't pull down the engine properly. So my engine was always overheating, so I never properly got the best power to out of the corners. So right now I could have been right on his bumper and maybe gone for the move, but I couldn't. And there was a yellow flag as well, so which I don't think we actually noticed. And we're still going flat out. We both really want this third place. It's a really good battle between me and Josh. He runs a bit wide here, but he still managed to gain time. I send it going in. He gets a bit of snap of oversteer on the entry going into the 180. I get a big lock up on the exit, and that's where my damage of my rear tyre starts to come in, because they just start to overheat. And also with the wear on my rear tyres, they're not good enough to fight Josh. So Josh just pulls away, and that's really it until the end of the race. But we'll still try go. We're just running wide. The tyres are overheating. Like round there, you can just see I'm pretty much sideways. On the right hander, big snap of oversteer. You can really see I'm having to wrestle the kart on these last couple of laps. I'm still kind of sticking with Josh though. Still kind of got his slipstream down this back straight, and he is pulling away though slowly, very slowly. And I think my rear hub is actually bent. So at the minute, one of my rear right tyre is actually bent inward, so it wants to turn. So I'm having to steer slightly. So we are quite slow onto the final lap of this race. Will we be able to catch up to Josh? It is looking very unlikely though, but I do catch up quite a bit there. I think Josh is just relaxing a bit. Maybe we can catch him napping. But he's still around about a second in front. Around this left-hander, I go a bit too much over the curb, and that just shoots me out wide. I've really felt that in the car because there's nothing underneath my seat. It's me, millimetre, then the ground. So any bump, you really do feel it. Going into the last corner, absolutely send it through here, get very close to the wall, slightly missing the apex, and that is heat free over. But catching up to Josh though on the final, kind of wanting to get next to him to say well done, good race, but yeah, look, he turns around, gives me the thumbs up. He knows it was a really good battle between me and him. Me and him really enjoyed that. Let's see what we have to say about that.
So we've just had the injury, bit of drama. You probably wouldn't have seen it on that, but definitely would have seen it on Josh's. Hopefully we can get that in the video. Hopefully. You would have seen that? Yeah. Well, for me, rear end was just too loose. Really good. And I could see it from my car, and I was in the car back. It was everywhere. I don't know how it happened on the track.
Yeah, alright for me in the end. I started fourth and you were in third. Started fourth, but ended up on the start going back down to fifth. And then Alfie and Humphrey were side by side, and they battered me together, and I managed to get up the inside of both of them, and then ended up finishing third, and Alfie in fourth.
Yeah, it was good.
And had a little bit of a drag race down the straight.
Yeah, drag race. You beat me.
Yep. But yeah, good race. Time for the final. I'm starting third in the final, you're starting fourth, side by side.
Hopefully we'll back. Yeah, we'll be. I reckon it will be. So yeah, see you in the final.
So I left the formation lap in for a very particular reason, and you'll see why. So they slowed right down, doing my normal weaving, power gets on a bit too much, and round we go. So yeah, now we're at the back by a couple of seconds. We just really need to catch up, cut a bit forward, and send it for everyone just to try and get that almost taken out the marshal actually. And it will be another. We'll have to go for another formation lap because the person in like the actual timing tower just there, he didn't know that I was actually in position. So we cut forward, and they like to go very slow on the second lap just to make sure that they don't have to be put at the back for going too quick on the formation lap. So into the tram lines now, and it's green light and races go go go. All looking to the outside of Louis, but no, I thought better of it. I think Josh is on my inside. Yep, he is. We actually interlock front and rear nose cones there, but look, he actually gets a very good exit and gets past Louis. So he's doing really well there, up into second. I'm now trying to get a run on Louis, but he gets one on Josh, and that's just a really good exit. Louis and Mason Stewart, no, not Mason, Connor Stewart, them two are the ones, like now P1 and 2, they run off with this. Now it's just me and Josh are battling each other again, and it will be a very good battle later on as we cut forward and we do a slow-mo, because this is when Josh messes up a bit. As you can see, his front tyres come off the ground a bit, that affects his turning. He has a slight snap of oversteer right now, and he just goes straight on, and I go a bit tighter than usual to make sure I get the position, and we're now through. Luckily Humphrey was a couple of tenths back, so Josh could slot right in behind me, not lose too many positions. But yeah, so now I'm up into P3, and this would be a very good finish overall. And as we cut forward, going in, and we have another slow-mo, because I do the exact same thing as what Josh did. I take a bit very close to the wall, my front wheels pick up a bit, big slide. I'm lucky not to spin. You can see I'm almost 90 degrees facing the other way, so I'm very lucky not to spin like how I did in Heat 1, and Josh just gets up my inside again. So yeah, so we've both done the same mistake, but so far it's a very good battle. Josh slots straight in. It's a bit unfortunate that I made that mistake, but it is trial and error. As you see, Josh getting a bit sideways when he's locked up there. That's the thing, to slow down the carts properly, you've got to lock up for a couple of seconds, but then slowly come off, because if you lock up for too long, you just go spinning off. So yeah, it's a very delicate balance between locking up, not for too long, but not for enough, and going straight on either way. So yeah, it's very difficult to get perfect as we get very close to the barrier again. We're trying to take down Josh here, but hit the cone a bit too much, losing a bit of time. And as you can tell, throughout the day, the real time will just be terrible. If you look to the middle left, you can see how much I'm having to wrestle the car, having to keep saving it. This is even here later, like shaking of the steering wheel, trying to be smooth as we go over the finish line.
Third place, 62, Josh Phillips.
Yeah.